The word mother for us is associated with a mature and independent woman who gets married and starts her own family after the implementation of her plans in life. Unfortunately though, this is not always the case. Sometimes very young women become pregnant. For some, maturity occurs a little earlier than for others. You've probably thought of at the age of 12, as this is a lot of time the case in mass media. But that's not the case here. Here are some stories of instances where young people became mothers even before the age of 9. This is Flip Side of History, and we begin this episode. Anya from Russia. She was 8.5 years old. The story of Anya from Rostov-on-Don is very little known. In April of 2000, a primary school student had already become a mother, which still causes shock and misunderstandings among all her friends and relatives. And of course, this still raises questions about how exactly this could have happened. The details of this unfortunate incident remain a mystery. Only one thing is clear: Anya became pregnant as a result of communication with a 13-year-old neighbor, and the teenager could not be punished. And it's because of his age, young people could be sent to a children's penal colony at 14. The narrative raises important questions about the protection of children from other children themselves, from their tragically early activism. Hilda Trujillo from Peru. She was the same age as Anya. Hilda Trujillo was a member of an impoverished family who lived in a modest one-room apartment. Temporarily, another 22-year-old relative came to visit them. He dared to do what you thought he did. After 153 days, the baby's parent was convinced that she was pregnant. After going to the doctor, it was confirmed that Hilda's mother's fears were fully justified. The perpetrator was immediately arrested and charged. He was punished accordingly, very severely. About 90 days after going to the doctor, at the end of 1957, Hilda gave birth to a 2.7-kilogram girl. She was named Maria del Rosario, a girl from Colombia. She was almost 8.5 years old. In 2004, a young resident of this country was asked to go to the pharmacy to buy pharmaceutics for her mother. Unfortunately though, this trivial walk turned the girl into a victim at the hands of a 32-year-old pharmacy employee. And 8 months later, the police arrested the girl along with her mother. This is after the suspicions of law enforcement officers about the presence of prohibited things in the girl's swollen belly. After all, the cause of this swelling had to be quickly established. The mother had to confess that her daughter got pregnant by a pharmacy worker. It was discovered that the man had threatened the family with severe punishment if they told anyone about the incident. After the perpetrator was exposed, the girl was placed under the protection of the Colombian Institute, which provides assistance to families. On October 11, 2004, the poor individual gave birth to a baby in the hospital. What is a shame is that the perpetrator was not prosecuted. The frightened mother never filed a lawsuit. Mumzi from Nigeria. Something very outstanding happened in Nigeria. There is still such a phenomenon as the harems of the nobility. Girls are also taken to the seraglio. Mumzi, an 8-year-old from Calabar, had just been taken to one of the harems. But she became a mother at an unexpectedly young age. The child, whose father was the chief of one of the Nigerian first tribes, his name was Akiri, was born in December of 1884. Back then, she was 8 years and 4 months. But that's not the whole story. Mumzi's daughter also gave birth to a child at a very early age, when she was only 8 years and 8 months old. It turns out that 17-year-old Mumzi, who lived at the end of the century before last, has turned into the youngest grandmother in the world. Grisaldina Acuña from Colombia. The least information has been made public in the case of this particular child. It is indicated famous as an 8-year-old girl gave birth in mid-September of 1936, when Grisaldina was 8 years and 2 months old. She gave birth to a child who weighed 2.2 kilos. Unknown girl from India. In India, although love and romantic relationships are revered, arranged marriages have not yet been eradicated in this state. Young girls are often forced to marry as children, sometimes even as babies. There are also cases when ancestors in impoverished families sold their descendants to adult men to get rid of an extra mouth. One of these girls was sold to her own fiancé. there is no information whatsoever about the baby's husband, as well as her name. The information that is available to us from the medical records relates only to the age of the young citizen of the named country at the time of childbirth. It was 8 years. Zulma Guadalupe Morales from Mexico. In January of 1993, a phenomenon occurred at the West NMC in Guadalajara. Zulma Guadalupe Morales, just an 8-year-old girl, gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The baby weighed 3.1 kilograms and was born by cesarean section. But the terrific thing is that a schoolgirl got pregnant after being sexually abused by her sweet uncle. Further healthy relations in that cell of society were overshadowed for this specific reason. X from India. The little-known story of the ex-girl in labor took place in a popular Delhi hospital in June of 1932. The girl was only 6 years and 7 months old when she became pregnant. The birth of the child was also extraordinary. It happened only thanks to a cesarean section. Nevertheless, the girl even managed to breastfeed her child for almost a year, which many adult girls from developed countries are not able to do even today. Lisa from USSR. In the 1930s, a crazy incident happened in Kharkov. 6-year-old Lisa was admitted to the clinic because of the growth of her belly. It turned out that Lisa was pregnant. Later, during the exhausting interrogations of all the members of that family, a terrible thing was revealed. The father of the newborn child was Lisa's 69-year-old grandfather, a devil at its core, as they say. It turned out that at the age of 6, Elizabeth gave birth to her daughter. But sadly, she did not survive. Her relatives insisted on a natural birth, refusing a cesarean section. The fully disgraced family moved to Vladivostok. It's crucial to note that they took their madman grandfather with them. Lena Medina from Peru. In Peru, the most mesmerizing of all the described in this episode incident happened, because here a 5-year-old Peruvian woman named Lena was 7 months pregnant. A Peruvian family, believing that their daughter's growing belly was a consequence of a tumor, brought her to the hospital. However, doctors found out that the girl was indeed pregnant. Perhaps the daughter could have attracted her own father, Chiburelo Medina. He was even arrested by law enforcement officers, relying on this version. But finding no evidence of guilt, they let him go. As a result, at the age of 5.5, Lena's toddler, Geraldo, was born. Everything was fine with her. She became literate, got a job as a secretary of a certain institution, and the boy lived happily until the age of 40, dying because of bone marrow cancer. By the way, an American production company offered the family $5,000 American just if Lena's relatives would allow them to film her giving birth. The girl's relatives said no without hesitating. Records in the field of motherhood can have a variety of shades. Some mothers are forever remembered for having a surprisingly large number of children, setting a new mark in history. Yet, there are also records that cause mixed feelings. The persons here considered had too short a period of childhood because someone decided to take it from them. They haven't even been able to enjoy at least part of it, and the next, natural teenage stage. What a world we live in. That was Flip Side of History. If you learned something new today, leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And now we have to say goodbye, and we'll see you in upcoming episodes.